It all started out growing up in a project, St. Bernard, 7 Ward, packing steel objects. Brothers talking trash cause it's all about $1. Y'all holler, y'all holler, y'all.
Dip through that Bernard. I'm gonna show you how these niggas rockin' back here. Hard heat, these niggas crazy. Let's roll.
I thought it was a firecracker, a backfire, and then it was like, no, this is the real thing.
The city of New Orleans that's against its poor people. It's the city of New Orleans that is doing this to its poor people.
I want to see God come around here and change things.
It's very devastating, and I just pray for New Orleans.
Well, I saw the one brother that was shot, and he was trying to run coming from the St. Bernard area. But he ran here and he collapsed right here on the sidewalk, but he was still alive. And so the officers came not long after he fell down. I came on over, I saw where he had fallen, and so I came over to see. But the gunfire was still going on, the shots were still being heard. You know what I'm saying? So I had a brother that was standing over with me, and the brother says, "Brother, don't go over there, brother. Don't mess with that." You know, man, brother fell on the sidewalk, he's down. I came on over anyway, and while I was there, they were still shooting. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, not long after that, within a few minutes after that, as a matter of fact, the police officers started coming in, and then some special units came through, and so on and so forth, and that was good. So I didn't have to do a whole lot, you know, after getting there to the scene.
About how long would you say the shooting lasted for?
It was going on for more than 20 minutes, something like that. Yeah, it was 15 to 20 minutes it was shooting.
So they were shooting back and forth?
Backward and forward. I mean, it was a lot of activity with weapons. So I don't know how many were shooting, but I heard a lot of weapons, and I heard a lot of gunfire. You know, I didn't hear nothing under 20 shots, you know, or even more, 30 shots or better, you know what I'm saying? So I know I listened to that. So it was a lot of gunfire. So.
City leaders would hail the post-Hurricane Katrina decision to demolish and redevelop New Orleans public housing projects as the opportunity to fix the wrongs of the past and provide a better life for the residents who once called the B.W. Cooper, the St. Bernard, the St. Thomas, the Lafitte, and the C.J. Peete home. Former Mayor Ray Nagin would say the 2007 decision by the City Council was one of compassion, courage, and commitment to the city, calling it an incredible day. Arnie Feakow, who was council president at the time, said it was an opportunity to make our home a place that all New Orleanians can point to with pride. Every citizen deserves a safe and affordable place to raise a family. While some public housing residents backed the plan, others would rally against it, calling it a land grab designed to make the rich richer and the poor poorer.
This is a process. And it's not just St. Bernard, it's the right of the people to safe, decent, and sanitary housing in the city of New Orleans and the country for real. Now look, this is what we're looking at today. As you know, I like to make 2 quotes to get this started. When I was in Baton Rouge, Representative Congressman Richard Baker was quoted in the Baton Rouge Advocate by a New Yorker reporter as saying we could not get rid of public housing in New Orleans, so God did it for us.
That's right.
Now, Alphonse Jackson, the head man at HUD, said New Orleans will never be a majority black city again because black people are poor and they don't have any reason to come back. Of course, if we don't have any housing, we can't come back. We have politicians who want to use us as a beating pad for everybody else. They want you not to come back unless you get a job but without a house, you can't get a job. So that's basically saying we don't want y'all back.
The December 2007 meeting, in which the council voted 7-0 to demolish the housing complexes, erupted into chaos as police officers used pepper spray and tasers to push back a crowd of protesters who would try to force their way into the packed council house chambers.
The vote sparked many riots at City Hall, both inside and outside the chamber.
Housing is a concern for all of us.
Cops were forced to use pepper spray on the crowd and even had to use tasers to subdue some who tried to force their way inside the fill-to-capacity building.
Then they began to try and tear the gate down.
In the end, the council voted 7-0 to tear down B.W. Cooper, C.J. Pete, the Lafitte, and St. Bernard.
The disbursement of displaced residents that once lived in public housing was spread throughout the city, ultimately causing friction between already established tenants of the area.
When you got to go to the gas station with your gun in your hip, when you got to go to the grocery store with your gun on your pocket, that's a war zone.
We have gun control. We have this. We have that.
Mr. Perkins.
And we're doing the same old crazy, insane things over and over and over again.
One such war will be between the St. Thomas and the St. Bernard. AKA the Thomas, AKA the Bernard. While some dudes would link up, others would be at war. In 2002, the St. Bernard Project will record 13 slayings. A total of 12 people were killed in the Bernard the year before. The NOPD will report that a significant portion of the violence could be attributed to turf wars. After leaving the St. Thomas in '99, Robert Pittman, aka Butch's family, would live within the block of the St. Bernard Housing Project. In a modest brick home in the 1200 block of Harrison Avenue. When asked, Butch's mother would say that her family never felt welcome. Butch was arrested in August of 2002. 2 months after, police would say he opened fire on a car, killing Alfred Edwards in the 1400 block of Senate Street. More bloodshed would follow. The next to die would be Butch's cousin, 22-year-old Antoine Cooper, who was shot inside his truck near Martin Luther King Boulevard and South Claiborne Avenue on August the 19th of 2002. His father would be next. Robert Robbins was gunned down on September 8th near Buchanan and Senate Streets. With so many acts of violence occurring, Butch's mom would leave the area. She wouldn't return to the Harrison Avenue home until 3 months later, in December, when she would pack her things in the dark and leave.
The special meeting on crime comes at a time when the city is experiencing its highest murder rate since 1996.
On Christmas Eve of 2002, the district attorney's office will refuse the charges against Butch. Both families will say that the bloodshed stemmed from the downtown-uptown rivalry among drug dealers that grew deadlier as foes found themselves living cheek by cheek in the St. Bernard Project. Those who wanted Butch dead will finally catch up with him on Easter Sunday while he was chilling in his truck outside of the club. The murder near Orleans and Claiborne Avenues will fall within the 7 square miles of the city that police targeted as the hot zone after the number of killings skyrocketed early in 2003.
Investigating a shooting from yesterday that left 1 man dead here in the city. Officers were called out to the intersection of North Claiborne yesterday evening. Authorities there located a man suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Again, details are limited at this time. Authorities are asking that if you know anything about either shooting, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 822-1111.
Which would be the year's 85th murder. More specifically, his death was one in a rash of killings that police would associate with a turf war that simmered after the St. Thomas Project was torn down and its residents scattered to the projects, particularly the St. Bernard Project. Butch would be a marked man before he was arrested, and more so once police would arrest him in August of 2002, accusing him of killing Alfred Edwards and wounding another man that June in the Bernard. Warren Riley, chief of operations for the NOPD, would state that the violence was so bad in the Bernard that a task force was formed to identify problem residents from both the former St. Thomas and the St. Bernard Project. None of this would seem to curtail the murders happening in the 7th Ward. In typical NOPD fashion, Warren Riley would state that the significant portion of the violence can be attributed to the turf wars, going on to add that he felt like the situation was slowly improving. Riley would say, and I quote, "I think the main characters have been eliminated through murdering each other, and the other portion has been eliminated by going to jail. They have all eliminated themselves."